Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Coin Gamma Show. Today, we're happy to have an illustrious guest. We have Daniel Im, who's a founder of Coinscious.
Coin, like conscious with coin.
Yeah, I
Coin.
like it. I like it. I like it. It's a good spin on the word. He's based out of Toronto, but luckily he's actually in the U.S. This week, and so we're here to learn about his project, learn about his story, right? Because we like to also hear about the people behind the cool projects that we talk to. So Daniel, thank you for joining our podcast today. Let us know, first we'll get into your project, but I'd love to know where you're from, what were you doing before you got into blockchain, and how did you discover it, and how did it lead you to your current project?
Sure. So yeah, first I'm Daniel, and I'm CTO of Coinscious. And basically, my story is that I started off studying computer science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, focusing on machine learning heavily since I was undergrad at University of Toronto.
Okay.
And luckily I met with Professor Jeffrey Hinton, who's the pioneer of deep learning. And then I moved to University of Guelph. I started studying machine learning doing my research masters with
Sure.
under Graham Taylor, who's the director of Next AI, and so on. And then I moved to University of Montreal
Okay.
and keep doing machine learning research under Yoshua Bengio, who Jeffrey Hinton and Yoshua Bengio both received the Turing Award, which is a Nobel Prize in computer
Of
science,
course.
just last month.
Right.
And yeah, and then I was really into machine learning only. And actually, while I was studying machine learning, my friend is Ethan Buchman from Cosmos. He's the founder of Cosmos.
Right.
I was studying that. He sat next to me. He was also studying machine learning, but he got into blockchain. He told me to buy Bitcoin at that time. I didn't listen. I just kept working on machine
What
learning.
what year is this?
This is 2015.
Yeah, everybody has that story where they wish they bought it early.
Yes, yes. So I just plug in my ears and then just focus on my research. And then I was keep doing research until in late 2016, early 2016, my friend Tom Bao, who's a CEO of Coinscious right now, he told me about cryptocurrency, blockchain.
Sure.
He got into it, and then I got into crypto trading first before doing blockchain. So
Okay.
got into doing arbitrage because he was an arbitrager and then algo trader. I got into it, I looked into it and see how it works, and I saw a big discrepancy between Korea versus outside of Korea in terms of
Right. This was it a kimchi discount? Something like
yeah,
that?
kimchi premium.
Kimchi
So
premium, yep.
right, so exactly. So that's why I got into interest in, oh, how can we make money? Is that possible? It turns out it was hard to transfer money from Korea to outside the country as a
Right.
non-foreigner, but at least while I was studying that, I really got into it, and that's how I got into Bitcoins and blockchain first.
Wow, wow, it's incredible. I guess we're gonna go into for people that don't know, the kimchi premium is kind of this term for the fact that within the Korean cryptocurrency exchanges that trade within for people that live in Korea, the Bitcoin always traded at a large premium versus the rest of the world. And I guess what was the reason? I guess because like the exchanges there didn't. I guess there was because there's illiquidity. You couldn't get the money out, and so
Yeah, yeah, it was more about liquidation and then setting up a bank account and stuff like that as a foreigner. So
right, right,
there was
right,
a lot of difficulty, like in terms of regulation and other barriers.
right. And also in Korea, trading crypto was pretty huge because people are used to
It's
mobile games, gaming, also gambling as well, right? So it's a big in the culture. So it crypto was kind of a perfect fit.
exactly. So like I'm Korean and I have a lot of Korean friends in Korea. We haven't talked to each other for like 2 years, and then it's just like this whole thing got us all connected again, talk to each other.
Right.
So that.
Is it still big over there? Even though there's obviously we had a bear market. Is it still Are people really still involved in trading it as much?
I'm not sure. I haven't been to Korea any recent years, but based on what I hear is that it's half and half. So people who trade still trades, but people who there's also sentiment that there's still too many people lost money at that time, so it's half and half. But from what I hear, there's still in Korea is a place where for blockchain and cryptocurrency trading,
Of
because
course.
it's just by nature, like somehow it seems like Korean people likes to do trading by themselves, do daily trades.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. Cool. All right. So you told me how you got to Coinscious. Can you tell
Yeah.
it what is it? What does it do? What is their project focus on within the blockchain community?
Sure. So my like Coinchest is basically we provide a crypto market data and analytic data
Okay.
and backtesting service. So all of these are services to data-driven analytic, all like services that help you make decisions or better informed decisions based on the information that we provide and so on. Yeah.
Sure. And so how are people able to get the data? Is it via API? Is it an app? Is it a website? Like where is the data? Where does the data live?
The data, yeah, they get it through API. So we have top 100 coins, and with 19 exchanges, we also have future data as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, futures data, and they all in millisecond level. So
Okay.
the data is very, very accurate.
Right. And so the data, and when you say futures, are these like CME futures? Are these BitMEX future, Deribit futures? What kind of
Yeah.
futures?
So these are BitMEX, OKX, and futures from like Huobi and so on.
Sure. Great. Now, I guess is that the main difference? So if somebody says, "Oh, data, I could get data from, maybe I could get data from on-chain FX, or I get data from, CMC, Coin Market
Yeah.
Cap." What I guess what's is it is your main difference the fact that you could do back testing, you have futures, or what? I guess what do you tell people? Because I'm sure a lot of people say, "Hey, I could get data a lot of places."
Yeah, of course. So there are a few data vendors out there, the ones that you named it too. One of the when we say our data, we talk about accuracy. We emphasize on accuracy a lot because our data is gapless and we have a lot of server that's getting the data, and then we try to fill in. There's no missing data. So one of
Sure.
the things that we did in experiments, and then we showed it actually. Wrote an article about this. You can find out in our blog.
Sure. I'll
It,
I'll I'll, I'll get the link from you, and I'll link it to the show notes.
Sure. So we purchased the snapshot of the data from our competitors like Kaiko or Coin API.
Right.
Then we have our raw data, our own raw data, and then we calculate OLCV, open, high, low volume,
Right.
and then we compute with our raw data, with their raw data, and then now we have OHLCV. Now we compare with the ground truth, which is the OHLCV data from exchange,
Yeah.
right? And then we see who has the most, who's most close to the ground truth data.
Right.
Then here we show that ours is consistently better, has a better accuracy compared to our other data vendors on those accuracy on multiple exchanges over top 3 coins and few altcoins like 0x, like ADA, Trons, and so on.
Wow, incredible.
So,
Now, I guess what I see that your site has some other tools like risk versus return models.
yes.
Yeah, so how does that work? What is that exactly?
Yeah, so if you come to our terminal, we call it terminal dashboard and so on. So it's
Okay.
basically
Is it like a Bloomberg terminal kind of?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Okay.
it's good that you immediately think about that. So if you're watching this, you can check it out right away. So if you go into the website, then the first thing you see is the return versus risk plot,
Right.
and there's multiple coins that embedded within this plot figure.
Yeah.
And then for each coin, you see, oh, what's the return for last 1 month, 6 months, and 1 year, and what's the volatility for that coin, and so on. So all different coins, the 100 coins that we have.
Right. That's incredible. Okay.
Yeah. So now that you have now that you have this plot, now you can figure out, oh, within the giving the one that gives 1% return, there are these coin that lies upon those, and which one has the least volatility, and so on. So that's how you look at it and then build portfolio or consider what coins to trade and so on.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Now, I think what about some other tool? I guess what are the benefits from looking at all, you mentioned the risk versus return model, but I think
Yeah.
you also have do you have technicals on your site too?
Yes, so if you go into our site and then you pick one of the coins, you click it, and then it has much more information about that coin. So that goes from mean daily returns to volatility rate of returns, all the analysis sentiments from the based on the technical analysis. You're still like moving average, exponential moving average over different long periods of time, and it will show what the sentiment is: buy, sell, strong buy or strong sell, and so on based on these indicators. Not only that, we have RSI, MACD, and these are typically ones that people use mostly. And under these popular indicator, it shows if you're a trade based on this indicator and simple rules, what's the win rates and what's the profit factor and stuff like that. All of this information you can find out and it's publicly available.
Awesome. Now, technical analysis. I mean, I've heard that thrown around, but if somebody is new to the concept, like how would you break it down? Like what is that and why is it important for people to look at if they look to trade this space or trade anything?
Sure. So the way how I would describe technical indicators as it's just some heuristical tool. It doesn't guarantee to predict something well. It's not. It doesn't forecast something. It just based on the history, and then using some stats based on the history and the stats, and then you play with some formula, and then and then it becomes a heuristic function that someone makes, and it's supposed to give you tell you about the trends mainly. So, for example, moving average is you just average over or weighted average over exponentially weighted average over previous historical price, and then see what's the trend right now. Is it a bull trend? Is it
Right.
a bear trend? So, and well, for example, if you look at MACD, now you're looking at the difference in trend, and now that which is corresponds to momentum. So those other indicators basically tell you about what's the current momentum like? Are people buying or selling? So it's more about momentum, and RSI is about as everyone knows like oversell, overbought. But these are all heuristic function that only computes based on the historical data and then tell you about the historical and then moving trend, but it doesn't actually forecast, give you what's going to happen in the future. So you have to interpret. So that's why it becomes sometimes many people, it's very subjective
Of course.
because as you can see, many people interpret it different way, and also there's so many indicators that everyone choose different ones, right? That
Right.
they are comfortable with, but there's no quantitative number that tells you which one is better than with the other, right?
Right.
So if you go to our dashboard, we just put out our indicator page in our dashboard,
Right.
and it tells you, given that for a single indicator, for each indicator, if you're to follow that indicator and then trade it at a simple some open and close rule,
Right.
what is the total return that you get over 90 days if you trade daily? So for each indicator, we give you quantitative number, which is the total return,
Right.
and then we show that so that at least you get some sense of which indicator performs how much at what and so on. So yeah, basically that.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. And so I think you mentioned back testing. Like what is that and why is it important?
Yeah, because that's important because so basically, so you have indicator, and then you have maybe some set of indicators, and you have your own rule, right? But how do you guarantee that this is good way of trading? How do you know this works or not, and so on, right?
Sure.
At least what you can do is if you have a previous data, then you can simulate the whole market, or at least, and then see what happens, what's the profit that you made or lose based on if you're following this rule. So then you get some quantitative number, right? Like
Right.
return, or you can look at Sharpe ratio or alpha, beta, or anything, right? So you can basically do that and then try different strategies or different, or it doesn't have to be indicator based, any strategy and see how it performs on the past data. It doesn't mean that it's gonna work in the future data, but
Right.
at least you get some sense of how it will do, right?
Right. Right.
And the historical data, and then you can study that when it fails, when it doesn't fail, so you get better understanding of your strategy.
No, I understand. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. Cool, cool. Obviously everybody can have strategy, but if you don't know how it performs in real life with real data, then it's not a strong strategy. So it's good that your platform allows you to do it. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
it seems like a lot of people are using trading bots to kind of do what you are talking about. Is your platform have a bot? Do you work with bots, or are you gonna introduce one?
So we don't introduce one, but there are people who trade with bots or their own algorithms. But what our platform helps them is that when they make their bots and then they test again, when they want to test whether their bot works or not. I mean, when you run something like especially bot, it's not on your control. Maybe you go to sleep and then you come back, you might lose a lot of tons of money, right?
Right.
So you have to do back testing again, whether you do it bot or not. So for those type of when they want to do it, they come to us and then they use our backtesting API or backtesting consulting service to help improve their bots or algorithm trading. Yeah, because
Awesome.
we also optimize their strategies too. So there's multiple hyperparameters, right? Parameters that goes into your strategy. So how do you optimize them so that it give you the best total return and so on.
Sure, sure. Awesome, awesome. Well, no, this awesome. This seems like a project that people should definitely check out. Now I guess what are your thoughts on the market overall? Like, Bitcoin is back above 6K US, but then
Right.
there's a Binance got hacked, but then Bitcoin's still going up. Do you feel like we're kind of returning to a bit of a bull market? Because to be honest, your business is depending on people being interested in trading, right? And usually people want to trade when prices are going up. So I guess do you have a view or no?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, bull market better, and we all waiting for the bull market. Then my business will do well, and I'll be happy to from me trading only. So I mean, right now it's gone above from $6,000, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's good. So we'll see what happens. I mean, so there's like so we like even in November, like we had a sudden drop. That's when we went from 6,000 to 3,000, right?
Yeah.
It full dropped, and there was like it was not because it was not a straight drop. It was like big dump and another dump, and
Right.
then there were huge events that happened, right?
Right. Right.
And there's several events happened right there. So this type of like unexpected catastrophic events sometimes really can hurt us.
Right.
So like and those events sometimes we don't know when it comes, but as long as like something like that doesn't happen for a while and hopefully this momentum keeps continues.
Right. I understand. I understand. What outside of Coinshares, obviously, what are some cool projects in the blockchain space do you like? It may be a coin, it may be a tool. Like what are some cool projects that you think are cool that people should check out?
Is it okay to say one of the project from ours too?
Of course. Well, obviously, Coinshares is what people should check out. But is there anything else that you think is interesting?
So I mean, yeah,
You
some
could,
some
well, you could, if you're involved with something different, you could mention that too. Sure.
Sure. So right now, up to now, I talked about mainly about trading tools and tradings, right?
Right.
But luckily, we collected the blockchain data as well, so we can
Okay.
query blockchain data. So we can query like, oh, if you give me address or ID, so then what happened for that blockchain? What's the balance? Or I can give you what's the um, for this particular this everyone knows this exchange, what's the balance for that exchange or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So luckily, this is not the cool part, but luckily we have this data.
So it's like a blockchain explorer.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
like database. And there's metal a lot, not just us. But because we have blockchain data, what I'm like super interested in is analyzing this blockchain transactions movements, right?
Yeah.
So once everyone you start using this blockchain and for transaction stuff, then we have the record of the how the money flows and economically. So now I feel like I can try to analyze, do some data science and machine learning on this blockchain graph data and see how economy changes, dynamics change over time in a micro and macro scale. So
For sure.
that's one project. Outside of us, I also there's some wallet that I found it was cool is that it's from Korea. Basically, their wallet is within the credit card chip. It's in the card.
Wow.
Yeah. So previously, like the wallets, you have it on your phone or USB stick or something like that in the
Right.
past, or until now. And people got hacked because you still have to, even if whether it's a extra external hard drive,
Right.
you take it out, you still have to connect, right, to your
Mm-hmm.
computer. And that means that the hackers can still hack into through the kernels and they hack your money. And there's a
Right.
possibility. But this company, they made a chip-based card, so you never have to connect to your computer. You tap, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just tap, so it's,
That's pretty cool.
so that
That's
one,
pretty
yeah.
good stuff, man. Well, listen, I know how busy you are, so I don't want to keep you too long. But if anybody wants to follow you and follow Coinscious, where should they go?
Oh, so there's definitely should come to Coinchess website. There's many social media. So Telegram is one.
Okay.
I consider myself being pre-active. Whenever I have free time, I give information, and whenever insights that I get, I share as well, whether that's good or bad.
Sure.
Uh, and our LinkedIn, Twitter, and WeChat,
Okay.
you guys can all follow. We make up biweekly reports, market reports,
Okay.
and we distribute for free the first tier version.
Okay.
So you can just download it and read our biweekly reports and then see what the market trend is, what's the top for performing coins, what's the top worst performing coins, what are the correlations to S&P 500, Dow Jones, and stuff like that. You can all find out.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna link to all that into the show notes, and people and kind of allow people to check that out. Well, Daniel, thank you for your time. Thank you for telling us about Coinscious. We're gonna check out your project, and
Thank you.
I really appreciate you spending time with us today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.